So why doesn't stretching always work for golfers? There's a big thing for golfers, everybody wants to improve their flexibility, and often they will say even, they will use the term mobility, but there's actually a difference between flexibility and mobility. Okay, flexibility is your joint or your body's ability to get into certain positions, whereas mobility is your ability to control your movement through and in these positions. So for example, we're I'm gonna show you a movement for the shoulder, but you can stretch all day long, but essentially, stretching, if you're stretching for 2 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes, it's not going to undo the other, 23 and a half hours in a day. Even if you stretch for 30 minutes, you have to be aware of the positions you're in throughout the day. So if you work a desk job and you're constantly working at the computer, you're gonna be internally rotated at the shoulders, which is gonna make it very difficult in your swing, especially if you don't have that spinal mobility. And so what I've found has been using the concept from functional range conditioning, or FRC, which is pails and rails. Now there's lots of different movements, but we're just gonna touch on the pails and rails today. For example, if you're constantly at a desk or constantly driving or just in sitting positions often, you're gonna have your upper back rounded out, your shoulders are internally rotated, and you're in this position frequently. And then you combine that with golf, you're standing over a golf club, you're rounded out, shoulders are internally rotated. Now, where that becomes problematic is in both your backswing and your downswing and potentially follow through, is your shoulder needs to come into what's called external shoulder rotation. So as you're coming down, your trail arm especially needs to come into that external rotation. This is true if you play baseball, this is true if you do any sort of throwing sport, you need external rotation in the shoulder. So as you're coming down through the swing, if you don't have that external rotation, what ends up happening is that elbow flares out and you end up coming over the top on your golf swing or on your golf ball. You can stretch that all day long, but the problem is that stretching is only one piece of the equation. It's only one part. And if you're a golfer who's stretched all day, every day, and you see marginal improvements, it's because you need to build control in this end range of motion. So stretching think of it this way, is opening up, and then now we need to build some strength and control in that open range of movement. So the example I'm gonna give you is your external shoulder rotation. You can use a rig like you see here, or you can also use a doorway for the same movement. But what I'm gonna do is I'm going to place my forearm against the doorway or against the post, and I'm going to bring my shoulder into external rotation. Now, even though my forearm is on this, it's my shoulder joint that I'm working through, and it's that external rotation. So I'm gonna get square to the doorway or to the post, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna step half a step back and push my butt back. Now, if you do this correctly, you should feel the stretch kind of in through the back of your shoulder especially, okay? Elbow is in line with the shoulder, and from here, I'm gonna kind of just sink into that stretch. Now, for time's sake, I'm not gonna do anything, but what I want you to think is you're sinking deeper and deeper, but I'm not cheating by falling into this. I'm keeping that arm out, and I'm sinking deeper and deeper into the stretch. I'm gonna do this for about 2 minutes, and then at the end of the 2 minutes, what I always like to coach my clients through is we're gonna do 30 seconds of pails, and then 20 seconds of rails. So pails means, I'm not gonna give you the definition, but I'm gonna be pushing my hand down. So this is the movement I'm doing. The muscles are activating to push that hand down, activating into the shoulder. However, because I'm against that doorway and the doorway is blocking me, you're actually not gonna see any movement happen. Okay, it's just going to be what's called an isometric muscle contraction. So my muscle's working hard, but visibly, nothing's gonna happen. Then when I go into that 20 seconds of rails, I'm going to try and do the opposite. So I'm trying to open up more range of motion. And what this is doing is that isometric muscle contraction is building some strength in this newfound range. So the stretch is to help me find the new range, and then the isometric muscle contraction is going to help me build some stability, strength, and control in that range, which is ultimately what you need in order to have an effective golf swing for this movement specifically. So arm against the post, hinging at the hips, back is nice and flat, okay? I'm gonna take a big breath in. So imagine like I've been here for 2 minutes. I'm gonna take a big breath in, brace every part of my body, squeeze hard. I can even make a fist with my other hand. And from here, I'm going to start at 20%. I'm pushing that hand into the post. So remember, pushing down like that. Think gas pedal into the post or into the doorway. So 20% effort, and then every 5 seconds I'm gonna gradually increase. So 5 seconds goes by, I'm at 40% effort, then 60% effort, then 80% effort, then I'm gonna do 10 seconds as hard as I can, pressing into that post. And then once the 10 seconds is up, I'm going to reverse. So I'm trying to lift the hand off the post, but because I'm in this max range, I probably won't be able to lift the hand. Make sure that we're not leaning back or twisting or anything. I'm really just trying to action the muscle in the shoulder to lift that hand off. And this is what's helping build control. So I'm holding this for 20 seconds and then relax, okay? So that's just one example of one movement you can do. Now, truthfully, you can do this with lots and lots and lots of different stretches, but all you're doing is stretching to enhance your mobility for golf. You're only doing half the equation. All variables aside, you're probably improving your flexibility, but that likely won't have translation to your golf swing the way that you want it to, because not only do you need to improve flexibility, but we need to improve control and stability and just your ability to move when you open up that range. So focus on mobility, not flexibility. You need more than stretching. You need movement and muscle contractions in these end ranges. If you have any questions, hit me up. Otherwise, take that and try it out.